Terminator. But I'm not.
What do you want to talk about Terminator for?
I'm not too knowledgeable about Terminator.
Well, the idea is to get you to do homework if you don't know about the
which I
topic.
would. But
And you'd like the Terminator.
And I mean, if you really want to get into Terminator, I have some Terminator comics you can read it, even the backstory and everything.
I don't have the time for that, especially right now.
Oh.
But you have the time for 4 movies.
Exactly.
He kind of has a point.
I did 4. No, I did 6. How many? No, I watched 5 movies, and I watched 3 of them during Thanksgiving break.
You can skip on a little bit of WoW time to watch 4 movies.
It's also kind of funny how you have no time for
You have
Destiny
2
either.
weeks between these podcasts.
You also have no time for Destiny either, which is kind of funny.
Let's not bring up the Destiny thing.
Is it 3 movies for Terminator then?
4.
Are you talking about Salvation or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I've seen Salvation. And
Okay, well, then you just need to watch the first 3.
1, 2, and 3. 2 is the greatest.
Well, I probably do 2 of those
1
on Saturday. 1 on
We
Monday.
can fight about this all day.
We will.
We will.
Duel to the death.
What do you like about 2 more than 1? I'm curious.
He likes that slow desert scene.
No, I don't. Fuck that fucking scene in that movie. I don't know.
Is it like how more human Arnold becomes with his character?
Podcast material?
It's not the same Arnold.
Is that podcast
Well,
material?
we're on podcast material.
This is the podcast.
Jake
material.
is gonna edit this out and not edit this out, but he's gonna make a special features. It's his own episode, but you do have to realize I grew up on Terminator 2 and that fuck. All right, this is a big sap moment. You don't even know this. Fuck what you're getting ready to say. I get teary-eyed at the end of Terminator 2 every time I watch that movie. And Dylan's laughing because I've already told him this story. And I don't give a shit what you fucking say. It's a sad fucking movie.
And yet you're the one that's like, it's bullshit in X-Men 1 when Wolverine is developing an attachment to Rogue. For the same reason.
Yeah,
because that Terminator developed an attachment to John Connor.
That's very different because he is actually a machine.
So
And
Wolverine's a hardened badass.
This is where that's irrelevant, Jake.
You haven't watched enough Terminator.
But you don't believe in Wolverine having feelings?
Yeah, he was ostracizing me the other night on Xbox Live for it, and I'm just like, I prefer X-Men 1 to X-Men 2 for that reason.
Well, Wolverine is still human.
I didn't argue that. I was just like, well, because Jake was like, we're arguing X-Men 2 versus X-Men 1, and I was like, X-Men 2 is a darker film. That's the one I prefer. He's like, X-Men 1 has a deeper fucking storyline. And he's like, he goes from being a badass to kind of loving Rogue and everything. I'm like, that's kind of pussy. I really don't buy that. What do you want with me? It's not you that I want. Dude, seriously, stupid fucking movie.
No, I don't feel like that Wolverine going to that submissive kind of state to appease Rogue
has nothing to do with Terminator. We have to get back to that's what we're talking about.
No, we're talking about bullshitting right now.
He's right.
It is right.
We're bullshitting right now.
I don't buy that. And what I'll say is, Jake, that is irrelevant because you're talking about a human compared to a machine.
I can see the machine finding empathy and sympathy.
That's
way
like
more
me telling you,
tear-jerking.
Man, I really like coming, but the sky is fucking purple.
And
what does that have in common?
But dude, I fucking love the sky.
It's not too far-fetched to think that after years of hardened warfare, Wolverine, he himself could have been almost like a machine.
No,
he was a killing machine.
He was a human.
Yes, but he's also thinking of the father relationship between Edward Furlong's character and Arnold's character.
He was a killing machine.
It's very beautiful.
He was.
Man, that's deep in Terminator 2.
This machine almost teaches him how to be a man, which is crazy.
At the end of the fucking movie, I know not why you cry, but it is something I can never do.
So epic.
And then he fucking was he pulls that fucking hand over. You can see the robotic, you see the robotic shit on his fingers and everything. And Sarah Connor gives him the thing so he can lower himself into the metal because he can't commit suicide by himself.
Edward Furlong.
Yes. God damn, dude. Terminator 2 is so fucking beautiful.
Original's more beautiful. We won't get into that.
No, the beautiful is a good love, and I've told you this, Dylan. 1 is a love movie. 2 is a father-son thing.
They're both love movies.
Huh?
They're both love movies.
Well, yes, but in different aspects.
Yes, Arnold's not fucking Edward Furlong.
Why are you farting? Like, seriously, stop that.
I'm sorry, we're going off on the Terminator tangent they can't add.
Well, yes,
Exactly.
because
The
that's
ones on the cell
inappropriate
phone.
to fucking, like, fart into the mic. If he's going to be a jackass like that, I'll just fucking say whatever I want to in the mic every time he talks.
Fair enough.
So stop.
No, I don't think the X-Men topics. It's not a bad topic. Debating the X-Men films, I can't debate Days of Future
Well,
Past.
did you see David Future Past?
I said I hadn't.
I haven't
I've only
either.
seen
Watch
Days of
it.
Future Past.
Kyle says it's one of his favorite movies of all
Wait,
time.
Me?
No. Fat Kyle
Oh.
says it's like one of his favorite
No,
movies
I
of all
think
time.
it is a pretty good movie.
Yes,
Like,
dude!
I think it is. I think it is a
You
really...
don't even have to like X-Men. It is a
See,
good
yes,
fucking
I
movie.
feel like
that-
I can't watch it because I haven't seen First Class yet
Well,
either.
I don't know. I don't know what you
I
think,
feel
but
I
I
did
don't
not
think
like
First
First
Class.
Class.
I don't think you need to watch it to watch Days of Future Past.
It would help because you would recognize like young Magneto, young
Well, I
Professor
guess,
X,
but
know,
you could
but
get that.
You
just from
could
watching
you
the
could
movie.
realistically not watch it and watch Days.
But I think it is a really, really good movie to tie the past, the X1 through 3, to the
how
current.
epic? How epic is it when
I
Xavier talks
Right.
to Xavier
It is fucking awesome, and he's like,
and he's
the fuck?
Patrick
Pretty
Stewart's
much.
like, stop being a fucking
Yeah.
whiny bitch.
the fuck are you doing?
Fats.
And he's like, I don't want to have my power. It's
Fats.
too painful.
I
Right?
thought that you said that Days of Future Past negates X-Men 3 or something. I wasn't really
I think
sure
it
what you
doesn't
were.
get X3. I
but
think.
yeah,
But, it makes it available to continue the story.
Well,
Which
what
is
I would
nice,
say
at
is
least.
it's. I'm not gonna give spoilers away, and I've never said that. But I won't say like Days of Future Past has nothing to do with fucking X-Men 3, Jake.
I thought like on Xbox Live, you were like it corrects all the wrongs, and I thought you said it like negates X-Men 3 or something. I don't know.
You should watch it.
Because you
I don't
opened it
believe
up
that.
to spoilers, and you're like, I don't give a shit. And what I told you is, it rights all the wrongs. Like, all right, so now after Days of Future Past, the storyline of the X-Men goes X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past. Nothing in between happened.
Exactly.
What so like?
Which is
What about
awesome.
Origins?
Jean Grey is
and
still alive.
The Wolverine.
Cyclops is still alive. X-Men Origins Wolverine never happened.
What about
Which is
the Wolverine?
fantastic.
Never happened. No, it did because it happens after. No, because Days of Future. At the end of Wolverine, that's when Magneto comes and gets him, and they reveal that Professor X is still alive. So yes,
Yeah. Oh, so
but
that does happen.
so it wipes away the Wolverine.
Okay.
Okay.
So, no,
But anyway,
it is First Class, and then Days of Future Past, and then it'll...
whatever they're gonna go do.
Yep. Which I think is fantastic, because it
I
puts the 1
fucking
through 3...
loved it, dude.
It puts 1 through 3 as a different pedestal, a different timeline.
Yeah.
And lets you expand without really, like going back and destroying what timeline is already there.
See, I'm not going to say Days of Future Past is a bad movie because I haven't seen it, but First Class bored me to death.
First Class, bored
I
me to death.
dislike that movie. So
It
you're
Really,
telling
guys?
me, if you're telling
It
me that
wasn't that great.
I liked First Class, but the main all right. I want. What do you want to say?
No, go ahead.
My main thing is, I don't know, like, Skinny, you've seen Days of Future Past, right?
Yeah.
My main thing is, I really like the guy that plays young Magneto. That's what I really like about that movie. Like, that actor.
He's really full of himself.
I didn't think so. The guy that plays young Professor X is really full of
Both
himself.
of them are.
Yeah, but I like the young Magneto.
It's all right. He knows what he's going to do, I think is what it was.
Like, the Kevin Bacon storyline, stupid as fuck. But anyway, it leads into Days of Future Past, which is epic as fuck.
Both of you should really watch it.
Well, Jake was just getting ready to tell us, because comic book movies came up earlier, that he really likes Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I thought it was a good movie.
This
I mean,
is
of
a
course,
good podcast conversation.
of course, Jamie Foxx
Hold up,
Electro
hold
can
up,
be.
Hold the phone, bro.
What?
We know your thoughts. Like you didn't talk earlier, like me. Whereas we had
Barely.
Skinny Kyle's the only one that hadn't talked. Let him, because I'm talking to him. Let him.
All right.
You-
Amazing Spider-Man
his-
2?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, I think it's a standalone movie. It was probably a 10 out of 10. No, I'm fucking kidding. Probably like,
Are you high on coke? I
Probably
knew
like a
you did
5.
drugs.
5, maybe 6 out of 10. Like, with the Amazing Spider-Man storyline, I thought it really matched with the comics better than the other ones have. With the whole Gwen Stacy thing dying the way she did, I thought it fit well. I did not like the movie.
My main beef with this movie is, and even after I watched it, because Robert's like, dude, I fucking love this movie. Go watch it. When I first found out that Jamie Foxx was Electro, I was like, I'll still give the movie a chance. When I found out the Goblin was an actual fucking goblin, I was like, what? Like, oh yes, the Green Goblin, it's a skin disease. What?
I don't actually think that's really explained in the movie because he just kind of shows up as like a demorphed fucking imp.
How does it not explain it in the movie? Because that explains the Norman Osborn.
Well, no, Norman like dies and then Harry just kind of shows up later in the movie.
It's very well explained.
Yeah,
because he
whatever.
said like you will grow into the deformed state, and I don't want this to happen to you, son.
Yeah, but it's not specifically called like a goblin syndrome or whatever.
Well,
it's
yes, but
just
you
like,
know what he's talking about because he
yeah.
eventually because
No, that part was like retarded. I respect the movie and like it mainly because of Andrew Garfield's performance. Like that was basically
That makes you like the
fuck
movie?
Andrew Garfield.
He just did a
Tobey
really good
Maguire
job.
was a better Peter Parker.
A good actor doesn't make a movie.
No, I really liked the
Topher Grace do?
performance.
Oh no, he did Venom, didn't he?
Yeah, he was Venom.
Oh.
Yeah,
Bro, no.
That's a completely different ballpark, dude.
Tobey
What the
Maguire,
fuck?
he's a way better Spider-Man.
Yeah, no,
than
I
this
thought
guy.
Topher Grace did the new one. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Spider-Man 3 is better than Amazing Spider-Man
My
2.
fucking bad.
I will say that.
Even though they're basically the same movie.
Except
Yeah,
Amazing
they
Spider-Man 2 tried to tackle way more and
Yes.
failed way less.
Exactly.
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 How did they even try to tackle more? Like,
Instead of 2 villains, you had 3, and they tackled the death
No,
of Gwen Stacy.
Amazing
you had
Spider-
4 storylines.
Amazing
Right.
No.
Listen.
Spider-Man 3 had Sandman, the new Goblin, which wasn't, I don't even think, a really canon villain. And
Wasn't the Hobgoblin?
no, the Hobgoblin.
As opposed
he
to the
wasn't
Green
called
No.
New Goblin.
No, let him
Whereas,
talk.
you
Let
just
him
had
talk. I'm getting ready to
whereas
rip
you
him
just
apart.
had Electro and
Just let
the
it go, let it go.
Hobgoblin, from my memory of Amazing
So,
Spider-Man 2.
So with Spider-Man
Oh,
3,
So, like, I mean, 2 villains as opposed to 1, or 3.
1,
3.
so you had Electro, Rhino.
Rhino shows up at the very end and it's kind of a
And the
segue
very-
into what I'm assuming is
Very
the
end,
Amazing
he's at the
Spider-Man
very beginning of the
3.
fucking movie,
He's in the
Jake.
beginning. You
Boo!
can see his
Hardly.
equipment in the movie
Hardly.
also.
He's the one Peter fucking
suggested
pulls
it.
over.
Suggested
it's
it.
not suggested. It's the actor with the
But
fucking
he's
tattoo.
not fully the Rhino yet.
He's still the fucking
He
Rhino.
gets in the armor at the end of the movie.
Do you know Darth Vader's not in episode 1? It's hinted at.
Wait,
Just get-
wait.
It's a younger version of
I
him.
thought Darth
but
Vader
no,
was
he's-
Anakin.
He's not in it.
No, but it's Darth Vader, Anakin.
Fuck you
Oh,
guys.
yeah?
He's not true Darth Vader.
Wait, so
Fuck
Anakin
you
wasn't Darth
guys.
Vader?
Yeah, no.
Wait, but I thought Darth Vader was Anakin.
No, Jake.
Wait a
they,
second.
They tried to tackle way too much in Amazing Spider-Man 3, and they failed because instead
Two.
of having 2
Two.
villains,
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
they had 3.
You said 3, you meant 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 3 had 2 villains: Sandman,
There we go.
Venom.
And New Goblin.
No.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to call New Goblin a villain because he's a new. He's not even an antagonist.
He's not even a goblin.
Yeah.
And he ends up being an ally at the end of it.
Yes.
He's not even a fucking villain. Whereas in main Spider-Man 3, you have Rhino, you have the Green Goblin, which is his Norman Osborn's son as the Green Goblin, and he's like, oh, I'm a goblin. Fucking stupid. So you have Goblin, Rhino, Electro, and on top of that, they're like, well,
Wasn't
we're gonna give you a 2-hour fucking
No,
movie.
he was hinted at
We're
at the
gonna
end
fit
with the,
3
armor.
fucking villains and the death of Gwen Stacy. I don't get emotionally attached, dude. You don't build anything that makes me like this movie. There's no connections. When they introduce fucking Harry Osborn in the fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's a jackass. I don't feel bad for him at all. They don't, you know what I mean? Tackling way too much. Maybe if they give it its own movie, I would feel bad for the kid. Maybe I would like him. Tried to tackle too much, and they didn't have true character development and storyline plots.
I'm really into Emma Stone as a blonde, though.
Emma Stone is a really good Gwen Stacy.
No comment.
That's some comments.
Yes.
But you know what? It's just one of those movies. Like, would it make a really good 6-hour movie, Jake?
No.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would sit around
Maybe
for
like-
a 6-hour
I'm saying
Spider-Man
what
movie?
they were
I
trying to
would.
tackle.
Yeah.
What they're trying to tackle. 3 villains
All
and
that
a
content.
and a death of a girlfriend.
So 3 2-hour movies.
Yes.
Yes.
Would it make a good 6-hour long story? Yes. 2 hours. It condenses it. You don't feel emotionally attached. You don't feel sorry when anybody dies. It's just a bad fucking movie.
I liked it, well, but whatever. I mean, I digress. We all kind of have guilty pleasures to begin with, and like I said, I mainly just like Andrew Garfield's performance in
you
it to begin
can't like
with.
a movie for one actor.
I disagree.
What?
You can like
What?
any movie that an actor you like in, kind of thing.
Why not?
How does that make the movie
It's
better?
all just opinion.
How does it
so
make the movie
It doesn't
good?
quite matter to begin with.
I don't know. I
don't even know what I can say to that. Certainly, I've watched movies because I like the actor, but it doesn't mean I like the movie or consider it a good movie.
I need to find some actors that played in horrible movies. I'm gonna start with Mike Myers in The Cat in the Hat.
I watched The Love Guru because I like Mike Myers.
The Love Guru.
That was an awful movie.
You actually watched that?
Yes.
I don't mind Ben Stiller in some parts.
I don't really like Ben Stiller. I mean, I do like some of his things, like Zoolander and Zoolander. Zoolander.
You didn't like Meet the Fuckers? Meet the Parents?
Not really. I like Robert De Niro in it.
I
Oh
thought-
my goodness, I like Robert De Niro in
Okay,
it, but I don't
all
like
right,
the movie.
all right.
Wait, no,
I see
you
your
like
point.
Robert De Niro?
Yeah, dude.
You have to like the movie because you
Oh.
like Robert De Niro.
Does it work that way?
Okay, I see your point.
Apparently.
I see your point, but whatever. I mean, I don't feel like the movie tackled too much. It was fine in my opinion. You can scoff all you want, but that won't change my
What was the
opinion.
No, it is his opinion. If he likes the movie, he likes the movie. That's that. But
You need valid reasons, not...
in fact, it's a
I-
fucking shitty movie.
I personally didn't feel that the pacing was that bad in the movie, and I thought the actors were all casted pretty well, minus Jamie Foxx. And I mean, yes, there was less than enough development on the Hobgoblin. I will agree with that. And he just kind of showed up at the end and killed Gwen
the
Stacy.
actors were casted really well.
Minus Jamie Foxx.
No, the guy that played the fucking Goblin, Harry Osborn.
He was okay.
He's way more emo than symbiote fucking Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3.
Not really.
Just give him some eyeliner. Go back. Rewatch
no,
it, dude.
Nothing is more emo than that. And if anything, Spider-Man 3 is at least good for the fucking jazz dancing scene, because that is hilarious.
No, dude.
It's fucking funny as hell.
So, what have we covered? X-Men, we've covered Spider-Man, we covered Meet the Parents a little bit.
I suppose we can cover all the other Marvel movies like Thor.
I think
Avengers,
Marvel
the
movies
Hulk.
could be another
Did you know
podcast.
Anthony
Iron Man.
Hopkins was in that movie?
That
Thor?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Who is?
I will agree with Skinny. Like the Marvel movies, if we're gonna get into them, the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be its own podcast.
That can be a podcast. We could watch all
Yeah.
the Marvel movies. That way Dylan could watch them.
Fuck.
They're not that bad
The
after
only one I want to
Thor
see is
1.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I told him that. I said, Thor.
Yeah.
I was just like you guys. I was like, fuck this shit. And Robert was like, go watch Captain America, and that's what gave me faith again.
I
See,
didn't
Captain
like Captain
America looked
America that
corny as fuck,
Didn't
dude.
like Captain America.
How?
So
it
watch,
just
ah.
it seemed
It was so fucking true to what Captain America is.
I believe that, but I just didn't like the World War II aspect. That's
Captain
just,
America's from
I
World War
agree.
II.
I agree. I know.
That's like
But-
saying Thor's blonde.
No,
Are you fucking high?
I know Captain America's World War II. I know that, but I don't like the World War II stories. I just don't like it. I don't know what it is
It
about
just seems kind of cheesy.
but it's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
for me.
They
But-
even had his fucking comrades.
Yeah.
I forget his group of friends. They had him, and the guy shaved his mustache to look like the guy in the comics. It was so fucking true.
I was never a Captain America fan really to begin with, though, because it was just like, well, he's just a kind of a dude with a shield. He's kind of like Marvel's equivalent of Superman, almost.
Captain America?
Yeah, 'cause he's
How?
like the true
What?
blue American hero, whatever
Do you
the fuck.
mean Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel's irrelevant.
Captain Marvel was never that big.
He wasn't a big, he wasn't he pretty much the Marvel Superman?
I'm talking about in terms
Yeah.
of what they stood for and like their iconic image.
Surprisingly accurate nipple.
Fucking awesome nipple grab.
I don't. With Captain America, I'm more partial to the '90s movie. The Roger Corman produced movie.
I want to see
Dylan
the '90s
Henshaw.
Punisher actually. Like that one looks fucking awesome.
We just talked about how
But
friends for all these years, and Robert Lopez lost my trust with Amazing Spider-Man 2. You might have just lost that trust. 90s Captain America.
I said
dude?
cheesy. I didn't say it was a great movie,
Ooh.
but it is a fun movie.
Ooh.
Captain America, I'm feeling sick. He makes the guy pull over. The guy comes over to check and see if he's all right. He runs back to the pickup and steals this pickup. That's Captain America's powers. He does that twice in the movie. He does it to his girlfriend, too.
He makes them feel bad about themselves and get out of the car.
You do realize
Fucking awesome.
Captain America was voted the worst comic book movie in what on a thing that I was watching the other
So
day.
how about 2 weeks from now, we should do a Marvel
comic book thing? That's what I was
Marvel
saying.
podcast?
You know how many
no,
fucking
maybe a
movies I have
comic
to
book
watch?
movie in general.
No, because that would be too expensive.
Too expansive.
Because then you would get me ranting about Batman.
And then
you
that
don't
would
want
be.
that.
You'd also watch
You
a
don't
lot
want
of
that.
shit. Also like Green Lantern
We just have
too.
to like
so
just
that'd be
do
fucking-
Marvel then.
Marvel Cinematic Universe?
But there's different
But
segments
then
of the
you're
Marvel
ignoring
Cinematic
what
Universe.
Dylan's talking about, like the original
there
Captain
are, but
America.
they
So
don't-
I'm,
we're
So
only
then you
like
go watch the
stages.
original Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. The
I
original
have it on
Fantastic
DVD.
Four, the original Fantastic Four produced by
No,
Roger
we're
I
Corman.
am not watching the
the
fucking
cinematic
newer
universe that's
Fantastic
going on
Fours
right
again.
now.
I'm just tossing that out there.
Okay, but I'm
Fuck
talking
those
about
movies.
all-
Like stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3.
We're not-
Fuck those movies.
You won't be able to watch all that. You're giving me
You know,
crap.
I have seen most of them.
No, I still
Okay.
I
got
think all of them, actually.
dude.
I have
Okay.
been.
You chosen to
You
quit
took it way
watching
too
after
much
fucking
personal
Thor.
earlier.
So,
We're just
that's
talking-
your loss,
I
not
watched
mine.
Captain
I was
America.
kind of pissed.
I didn't like it. I watched First Class. I didn't like it.
The 2 worst movies since they came out.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wait, what?
I think.
Wait, what was the worst 2 movies?
In my opinion, Captain America and First Class.
What?
Since then, what would you say is under them?
Captain
X-Men
America:
3?
The Winter Soldier.
I like that movie more than Captain
Avengers?
America. I liked Avengers more than those.
Avengers is epic. I was gonna say X-Men 3, dude.
Iron Man fucking
It's
3.
Spider-Man
Iron
3.
Man 3 is shit. I was
like-
the guy that followed
I don't
Iron
have the
Man.
heart to watch Iron Man.
I
2 or
skipped
3.
Iron Man 2 and watched
I-
Iron Man 3. I was like, what the fuck
No,
is going
you're
on?
high as a kite. Iron Man 3, I was like this. Or Iron Man, I was like this is fucking stupid because me and Robert saw it in theaters. And it turns out to be the dude, the Big Lebowski, and the silver thing that fights him at the end. I was like, this is bullshit. Iron Man 2, Whiplash, Mickey Rourke. I was like, all right, this is badass.
All right.
Iron Man 3, it turned out to be the fucking. Don't even get me.
The only
Oh.
remotely cool part of that movie was at the end with
Oh.
all the other Iron Man suits, like all the different ones.
It's
that was
stupid.
that was the only remotely cool part, in my opinion. I
thought
agree
it
with
was
you.
cool.
The movie was.
I thought it was cool.
I thought that was a cool part. The movie
No,
was
dude.
like meh.
That he could have all the marks like fight with him like autonomously. That was cool.
That was cool, but that does not make up for the fact that the rest of the movie was boring as fuck.
When he's like, he's in the like, because he crashes and he has his suit sitting on the couch next to him. And he's in that like barn, and the little kid's coming out and giving him food, and it's like the wintertime.
You see, the main problem with all these new Marvel movies is that they seem to try to be really dramatic, and like come off these huge and bombast, and not very much fun. But when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, the trailer, I was like, wow, this movie looks fun, and it's not trying to be something.
It
It's
tried
not
to
trying to
be.
pretend it's something else.
I will give it to the boys. One thing we have to fuck with Dylan Henshaw, because even Robert said this, and these two are agreeing with me. You won't even watch the fucking Avengers,
You
The
won't
Avengers
even-
I've
was
seen Avengers.
fun
I've
as
seen the
hell.
Avengers.
and
What
you
the fuck
didn't
you
like
watch
I
it.
watched it. It was like a month back. I saw it.
Good thing you fucking told us.
Why didn't you like it? It was a
bored me.
good, fun movie.
It was
It
a
bored me.
No, it showed.
It explained
felt
why
like a comic book.
it explained why Thor was so shitty. Like, oh, he's an alien on a fucking planet. Well, that's because this fucking alien race invades and everything.
I'm jaded. I like the movies from the 90s.
Did you watch Thor and Thor 2 then?
No.
Thor
I'm not
sucks.
watching Thor 2. Fuck that.
Thor 2
Well,
isn't that bad.
It's
Well,
not that
didn't
fucking
you
bad.
say that Chris Hemsworth was a good Thor though, Dylan?
I think he was a good choice for the role. That didn't make me like the movie though.
You need
Fair
to
enough.
watch the
I'm not
entire
retarded.
universe before you really make the judgment calls, because it all ties together.
I think I'll stick with Darkman. Maybe you should watch Darkman.
He had seen Avengers, and I would say that's a high point because after that, then you have fucking Captain America 2.
Which I didn't mind.
It's okay. Sounds good as Captain America. Then you have Thor 2, which is better than Thor, but then Iron Man 3,
Which I didn't mind.
You guys need to become acquainted with the not the Marvel movies, the comic book movies of the 90s. Tank Girl.
No, because they were
Crow.
fucking shitty.
Crow is epic as fuck.
Hey, motherfucker, you know I'm on the same level as you. Don't even start that.
Those movies are fun. They're dark.
And they look
Crow
like
is
shit.
the Crow is
Satirical as fuck.
whoa. The Crow is epic.
Dude, The Crow is epic as fuck, Kyle. Like, if you haven't seen that movie, do yourself a favor and watch it.
I'm not going to
That
do that.
movie outshines all this Marvel
It
bombastic
captures
bullshit.
the essence of its comic book origins almost perfectly.
I don't know, D.
It does.
It's
You see-
very, very.
Well, we've got
good.
Dylan who likes
But
I
practical
cannot
effects.
stress enough how good
Dylan?
this movie
We've got
is.
me who likes CGI, and Jake and Kyle who are kind of in the middle.
No.
So
I like CGI when it's
I
done
got
well.
one thing I can fuck with Dylan about. So you don't like the modern movies, and you don't see the the modern day comic book movies because you don't see the fun in them, and they're too much CGI and everything. And you like the older films, right?
I think I
The
admitted I
90s?
might be jaded.
And you think you might be jaded. I don't see that, dude. Like they're much more realistic. And this is what I'll say to you, because you like older Batman films than the newer Batman films, where they're more set in reality. You're somebody that bashes when shit looks too cartoony, but then you like the more cartoony shit. I don't see how.
I can battle you on this. Horror movies have become more realistic.
And I
Certain
hate
somebody
modern day fucking
doesn't
horror
like
movies.
so I can take you on that.
No, because I'm on the same
we're
level
talking
as
about
you.
Marvel.
No, I'm saying
I-
he's attacking me on this, but I
No,
can
we're
still
not
attack
talking
him
about
this.
horror though. We're
I
not
think
talking
we're
about horror.
certainly
He's
talking
attacking
about
me, and I'm
comic
attacking
book.
him back.
We're not talking about horror. We're
He's
talking
just
about
shooting the
Marvel.
shit. I can change the subject whenever I
No,
want.
no.
You don't do shooting the shit. This is our podcast. You are a guest, our friend.
Oh bullshit! I've been both both of them.
You two are guests
Nah,
in
bullshit.
this podcast.
You want some beer?
Might just go get some beer.
I'll buy you some beer, dude.
I love you, Keegan.
I have money.
This is
Hey.
vodka.
No, dude, fuck it. I hate when
There's
like,
some
people
Vodka.
just
If
come
you
over
wanna
and hang
get
out.
yourself some.
Just so naked.
Give me like $20.
What?
I
Give me
love
like
you.
$20.
You state that again, please. So we.
No, actually, it's
Sorry.
a lot more dick than $60.
State that again.
When you
my
feel
my
so
name is
naked.
Jake, and I have to admit that I
No,
love
state
Keegan.
what you said again.
I love Keegan.
What was I talking
He is
about?
beautiful.
Oh, the realistic versus the cartoony.
Yes.
Like you prefer the Tim Burton Batman films, but you don't like the newer films.
He likes Batman Begins.
Dude, I love the original Punisher with Dolph Lundgren.
Don't you
Of course
like
I love the
Batman
cartoony
Begins,
shit.
Dylan?
What?
Don't you like Batman Begins actually? Like
I
he was talking
don't
about the
mind it.
Christopher Nolan.
I wouldn't say I like it or love it.
It is more
I really
cartoony.
like that
It
one.
is more cartoony than the Thomas Jane film.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I don't mind the Thomas Jane film.
Batman and Robin
No,
is pretty
I
fun.
I don't mind the Thomas. And Punisher Warzone was
Fuck
okay.
you.
It was okay.
I love all the Punisher films. I'm not
It's
saying
okay.
anything there,
See,
but
I think
I'm
Marvel-
That
saying
movie is
you
fun.
you do see the humor in the kind of let's just have fun aspect of it. You didn't see that in Avengers,
No,
like just that. Let's just have fun.
I was bored. Like I said, I may be jaded. And I admitted that, right? I admitted it.
You probably went in with the attitude that you wouldn't like it.
I may
Because-
have.
Because you've said that all Marvel movies after whatever movie it was is shit.
Spider-Man 2, right?
I'm trying to open my mind and going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy. I've already admitted this.
Well, Guardian of the Galaxy, I think is the best Marvel movie I've ever seen.
But to be fair, it's more up my alley. Space.
I think it is.
Nothing
Whoa.
tops X-Men 1
Guardians?
for me. I just have to say.
You've seen Guardians, right?
No, I haven't.
I have not either.
loved Guardians. Like it had everything
Dog.
I wanted.
These two call me crazy, but comic book movies are having a comeback. For me
They have been
personally,
for the past 15.
For me personally,
the past 5 years.
I've gone on a record and said, and Robert Lopez was like, "Whoa, wait, what?" I said, "Days of Future Past" is my favorite comic book movie.
Mine is still
Watch
X-Men
Guardians.
1.
Epic. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm
Guardians.
saying they are stepping it up and making it more fucking epic and badass.
Yes.
Minus.
I've had a little preview. I've seen a little bit what they're going to be doing with Stage 2 and Stage 3 of the of the Marvel universe.
But see, I think
and I'm excited.
All right, this can bring us all back
Maybe.
together because we all are disagreeing. I will say, Marvel got the top. She beat DC to the punch when it came to like the
For
start.
sure.
I think that this is where Marvel's going to start to stagger and DC's coming back. I think this is where DC takes her.
I agree.
Nah, Marvel's got
Because
it.
you've already blew your load.
The Justice League movie
you had
is coming.
Avengers.
The
You
Justice
already
League
blew
movie
your
is
load.
coming.
The Justice
But
League
all-
movie will be
wait,
interesting.
Jake,
The Justice League
Just
has
saying.
two.
All
Wow,
all
what's
your
going on with
cards, all your cards have already been put on the table. So DC can look at that and be like,
That's not true. Guardians of the Galaxy got pulled out of nowhere.
The Justice League has
Very-
two going on.
very-
with it.
I'm
That's
saying
true. That was a
Avengers
really random-
compared to
really
Justice
random
League.
movie.
They
The
know what's
Justice
on the
League
table
has-
and what they have to
The
compete
Justice
with.
League has Green Lantern, right? Superman and Batman.
Superman,
What
Batman,
the
The
fuck are you gonna do
Flash,
about that?
The Flash,
I am
What
Hawk
somebody-
Girl, Martian
No, no, no,
Manhunter.
No. What Flash movie? I don't know the Justice League, but the
Yo.
movies have been out so far.
That-
Okay,
Stop.
okay, fair enough.
Because you're getting to the DC and the DC multiverse,
Universe.
in which
not
it
multiverse yet.
just started. But
It is multiverse.
that's what I'm
It
saying.
started in 2005, right? Batman Begins.
No,
When was it?
Like
Man of
2000
Steel.
Oh,
which is
never
what
mind.
I'm getting ready to say. All right, when it comes to Superman, I love Superman 1. I love Superman 2.
Amazing.
Fuck every other Superman film until you get to Man of Steel. I walked in there I was like, I'm going to fucking hate this. This is fucking stupid. I'm not going to fucking like this. And Robert's like, you're a sci-fi guy. Just go watch it. I'm like, fuck this shit. Walked out there. I'm going to go buy this Blu-ray.
The best part of that movie was Kevin Costner.
What?
That
Yes.
Man of Steel.
Russell Crowe.
I
dude, as
haven't.
Cal
I have not seen
as
Man of
Jor-El.
Steel. I have
That
not
Man of-
seen
was
it.
Man of
so
Steel the one where they were on the island, or was that?
Explain to me
No.
how it's
Never
epic
mind.
and how it's not epic. I'm just kind of weighing opinions here.
It's basically
Fat Kyle?
if you took, and Dylan would understand because I never liked Superman comic books or anything. I'm more of coming from a cinematic fan.
It's overrated.
I
If you took
understand
the
that.
best aspects of Superman 1 and you took the best aspects of Superman 2, that is what Man of Steel is.
Okay, and Mr.
Wrong
Dylan
words.
Hinshaw, please explain your counter argument as to why that movie is bad. Because I'm trying to I haven't seen it. I'm just wondering if somebody that will go on with kind of an open mind. Because I enjoyed Superman 1 and 2 for what they were. How is that movie
Honestly,
bad?
I think the worst part of it is the lead.
The lead.
He was a fucking
Okay.
weirdo.
I don't think he's a very good Clark Kent.
He didn't seem
I-
as strong.
Not likable.
But boys, we will never have Christopher Reeves back.
Well,
Fuck
yeah.
plays
in a
Lex
wheelchair.
Luthor.
Hold the phone. We're just talking about Clark Kent. Compared to Superman Returns.
No. Nobody's talking about that. Superman Returns is the
No,
fucking
we're talking about why you
ginger
why.
stepchild.
No. We're talking about why you didn't like it. You didn't like Clark Kent Superman.
I guess I mean more so. I mean, yeah, a weak lead is kind of a bad point for a movie, but I mean, anything else that might kind of deter
Just
your
mainly the
opinion?
actors. Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner were saving graces. I agree.
Okay, but like everybody else was just kind of like a bad
I just
fit
didn't care
for
for
the
him.
role.
Jake.
Yes.
And
Explain to
I-
me
Well,
more of why you liked it.
I've
Ben.
become fed
You
up with
interrupted
Christopher
me.
Nolan's filming style.
Sorry.
But what I was gonna say
It's
is,
getting redundant.
all I'm saying is, dog. Compared to like Superman Returns, that Clark Kent Superman, the Man of Steel Clark Kent Superman is more badass. It's not Christopher Reeves.
I'm not saying that.
I'm saying, if you're going off what we're gonna get, dude, the best that it's gonna get, this is probably better than like we saw Superman Returns.
I can
Wasn't
agree
that-
with his
saying that.
point about Christopher Nolan's filmmaking style as a man that had recently seen Interstellar, and that was a very average at best movie.
Wasn't this based off of DC
I love
overthrowing
Christopher
Marvel?
Nolan. Don't even get me into that.
It was a very
Didn't it start
dude.
from
Go
there?
watch Interstellar. It was a very average at best movie.
I want to see it. I love Insomniac. I actually like his
No?
films. I've seen Inception.
Yeah,
Didn't it
no, I
start
wanted to
from
see Inception.
DC
I
overthrowing
didn't.
Marvel. And
Yes,
what you
the
guys
rise.
What you
Now
guys have
stop.
told me is not shit.
No. Stop. What happened with? All right, I'm not fucking retarded. This is what the conversation happened. We were talking about how DC's making the comeback, and you said, well, wouldn't it start with the Batman Christian Bale films? I was like, no. The start of the DC multiverse starts with Man of Steel. Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice,
Which
and then
hasn't
they're going
happened
to do
yet.
the Justice League film. Then
So
there's
that's 3 films.
Wonder Woman,
Which is gonna be
Green
shit.
Lantern.
What Green Lantern's already
Stop.
happened.
No, they're
Yeah.
redoing it. They're redoing
That's
it.
surprising.
No,
All right.
I might be wrong, but stop. They do. It's Superman because they've already done it, and then they're going to do Batman versus Superman. I think the Justice League. Then it goes Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Justice League 2, Aquaman.
So all of those
There's
movies
gonna be an
sound,
Aquaman movie.
They
Yeah,
sound.
it's set for 2018, 2019.
That's
I-
gonna be. That's
It's
gonna be
it's
interesting.
a guy from Game of Thrones.
It's gonna be interesting, but it's gonna be a little odd, I guess.
I
You didn't
prefer
read
the
about that at all,
animated,
D?
the animated movies for DC. Definitely.
The guy that led the Dothraki.
Oh,
That-
the
he's
that
gonna
guy.
be
He's Aquaman.
Are
That
you
is
fucking kidding me?
retarded.
Cal Drogo.
Yeah.
That actually might be kind of epic.
No.
That might be kind of epic.
Dylan
guy that,
Hitchcock,
The guy that like Daredevil. It says it's epic.
Well,
What the fuck?
No, dude,
You guys can
Daredevil
be all
wasn't
shit
that
in the world
bad.
about not liking
Daredevil
new
wasn't
ones,
that bad.
but he
Daredevil
likes
wasn't that
fucking
bad.
Daredevil.
Daredevil was fucking shit.
Bullseye was fucking shit. Daredevil was not that bad.
Kingpin.
Anyway, I think
then
that
that might be
Marvel
alright.
has a cinematic hold right now.
What I'm saying
and
is
we'll have for the next 5 years.
DC's
at
making
least.
her comeback right
In
now.
5 years, we'll talk about it again. But right now, they've got the standing.
You have
Yeah,
to admit that
definitely.
Marvel has played a lot of the aces.
Yeah, and now DC's coming right now with Justice League
But
and everything
DC's
else.
so like lesser, not known, but lesser like,
dude,
fan base. You have
no,
Superman and
Marvel is appealed more to the mainstream.
DC's set in much more of a realistic fucking atmosphere
But
than
you have
Marvel
Superman
is.
and Batman.
Marvel did it first, bro.
Maybe the
they
Flash.
made it realistic.
Bro,
But
skinny.
then there's Green Lantern,
Skinny.
there's Wonder Woman, there's Martian Manhunter, there's that's about all I
Hot
fucking
girl.
know. No, well, there's Hot Girl, but that's all I know.
Dude,
And
okay, skinny.
What I'm going off of is that I have a sort of like a little bit delving into the comic universe, but because I know like not shit in the Black Panther, a little bit. Is that DC?
That's
No, it's
Marvel,
Marvel.
bro.
Exactly.
Marvel's.
See-
all right, stop. What? It is exactly. Dylan did put it best. Marvel played all of her aces, and now DC is looking at those aces, and it's like, well, I gotta
Use
out.
Batman
no, stop
again.
No, stop. What I'm saying is, they're looking at it as like, how can I outdo this? So that's
Use
what I'm saying.
Superman.
The DC fucking universe is gonna fucking explode. These next films are gonna beat Marvel. I
We'll see.
truly do believe that because
We'll see.
Marvel's already laid all of her cards on the table.
I mean, I like Marvel and DC both equally.
I
So-
pick Marvel over DC when it comes to except Watchmen and fucking Batman.
Okay.
Well,
You guys are getting one big thing before you say anything.
Okay,
DC owns television right now.
that is
That's
true.
Yeah.
no
Yes.
question.
Agent,
have
there's you
Smallville
have
and Arrow.
the no
Smallville's done. They have
Skinny.
Arrow.
You have
Flash.
They have
you
Arrow, the Flash,
Gotham.
Really?
Gotham.
You have Agents of Marvel or no
Agents of Marvel
Shield.
fuck-
fucking
Shield is Marvel.
sucks.
You have Agents of Shield versus
Marvel.
I hate that show.
You have Gotham, Flash, and Arrow. So they're dominating television.
Isn't
right
Arrow
now.
shit though?
I don't care
Arrow
for it.
But
overall is
This,
actually
this is
apparently
another
good.
interesting thing I want
I
to
don't
get into with you, Dylan Henshaw. Like, what do you think? Do you think that, mind you, because we're tiptoeing into what slasher films did in the '80s. Do you think it's going to collapse in and of itself?
It's becoming too big.
I think comic book movies will end up
It's going to become
collapsing.
oversaturated.
Definitely, I can see that.
I can agree with
Did
that
it in
point.
the early thousands. It's going to do it again. It's inevitable. We don't know.
I
when.
think
Early
I think
thousands
it is
with
going to
Superman
collapse
and
in and
X-Men?
of itself.
It's
I
a
mean,
cycle
Spider-Man
that'll
and
just
X-Men?
keep repeating.
because it did all the sequels.
the Hulk?
That's when it collapsed on itself.
And it came back 2 years later.
Yes, but it still collapsed on itself. And there were tons of movies that lost them tons of money.
I feel like it may have receded, but I don't think it collapsed.
I think it did.
Well, Kyle,
See,
I
that's why I think Marvel might fuck out because no one's seen what DC's coming out with. So
They
might
could kill it.
The
They could.
collapse will hurt Marvel more than it will DC.
The skinny all I was gonna say was you keep saying that you're a Marvel guy, but when you think about it, like Marvel, a lot of their ideas for comic books in general, like some of the villains and even some of the heroes are kind of rehashings of DC comic book figures that are already in existence.
Now,
Prime
when-
example of Captain
when-
Marvel being kind of the equivalent of Superman, like you were just talking about earlier.
Okay, that's one example as opposed to.
Yes, but Marvel made comics more realistic.
They did. 'Cause-
Somewhat. I mean, some of the DC settings.
No, because I will say this, Jake.
I like some of the DC settings, but I mean, then again, I mean, I'm not a guy that's as more well versed in comics as you are. So I mean,
I
this
like
is just the
Gotham.
ones that I just have seen.
As
in red?
this is what Dylan is saying, is like, as a diehard Batman fan, Batman predated Marvel. What happened was they got too comic booky and they got too goofy.
That's right.
Marvel brought it back to realistic, and that's where it saved comic books in the 70s. Wasn't that when they were losing out?
Late
I think-
60s,
yeah, I think
Early
70s.
70s, because what really hurted DC was the Adam West television show.
Correct. Which is awesome.
I actually really enjoyed that show.
But that's what really fucked DC over. And Marvel was like more realistic because, mind you, Spider-Man was the first fucking comic book hero that was like, well, do I want to go across town to save my Aunt May, or do I want to go across town to save the actual city from whatever supervillain that there is? Marvel put it into that reality of like you had to choose. Do I want this or do I want that?
Tony Stark was a drunk.
Tony Stark was a drunk.
Okay,
So,
I can
and
see where you guys are coming
DC,
from.
the heroes were perfect and it was cartoony.
And that's why when I talk about DC, that's more of like the rebuff of like when they like responded to Marvel. That's when I got into it.
And they did strike back.
Right, yeah, and they struck
Dark
back
Knight.
fairly hard.
How was that, Jake?
Well, like with the Darker Batman comics.
You can tell them about those?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed killing Joke
Jake, what,
in The Dark Knight Rises.
what do you know about
or
Batman?
Returns, The Dark Knight Returns. Like I said, I'm not
Batman
more well
off.
versed.
Like
Like I said, I'm not as well versed as you guys are in terms of comic books, and I probably never will be. I mean, you guys read expansively. That's
Yeah,
just
we're
coming
nerds.
from my sort of point of view. I mean, it's just whatever. The
I don't know. Like, I think the greatest breath of fresh air when it comes to comic books. All right, so in the 80s, you had like Frank Miller that did Sin City. Well, he later did Sin City and 300, but he did The Dark Knight Returns that brought it into realism. And then you also had like artists like Jim Lee and everything else. Like, my favorite, like, all right, writing wise, I love Frank Miller era Batman. My favorite comic like design is Hush because Jim Lee did Hush. I love Jim Lee's designs, and he reinvented. Like, mind you, Jim Lee was part of those guys. Seth MacFarlane also worked for Marvel, and then Marvel was like, "We're not going to pay you," and then they said, "Fuck you," and we're going to
all
go
of this
make our own
material
thing.
would be very, very good podcast material.
But
It would be.
they said, "Fuck you," because Marvel was like, "We're not going to pay you. We're going to give you like a little bit of money and everything." They said, "Fuck you," and Seth MacFarlane went on to do Spawn.
I think this is all going to be an episode.
You know what I
2.
mean? Like, I don't know. Comics are just getting better and better. That's my personal opinion because we've gotten into where people want realistic stories.
I want
in
to get
certain
more into
circles.
comics, but there's so much shit and so much lore and so many different rehashings of different superheroes. that it's like,
see, personally,
That's
for
exactly
me,
what's keeping me from going
for
into
me-
it.
exactly. Am I right?
The only
it's
beef-
intimidating.
the only beef is DC did the New 52, and they redid all
See,
the DC.
You say New 52? What the fuck does that mean?
Stop! I'm
I
getting
don't
ready
know
to
what that
tell
means.
you. They restarted all the storylines.
New
All right,
universe.
that's cool. Like,
But there's
they're
still
not they're
those
not
storylines
ignoring what
beforehand.
they're not
Exactly.
ignoring. Like, all right, so Robin
You
is
feel like a poser for not knowing them.
I want to listen to this.
so.
Well, yeah, but-
what the New 52? What that's doing is like, okay, well, Robin is Dick Grayson
Yeah,
instead
I knew
of
that much.
Tim Drake, and Dick Grayson is Nightwing. The New 52 draws that back as like, well, Batman is Bruce Wayne, and then Tim Drake or Dick Grayson is Robin. You know what I mean? It's not ignoring shit, but it brings it back to like simplifying it, which is what they did with Crisis on Infinite Earth. But the problem is, like, if you're a Batman fan like me, like, they did New 52, and there's 4 different like storylines of Batman because you have Detective Comics, you have Batman, and then there's like 3 other storylines that are going on. So even when they redid the New 52, it's so fucking difficult to get back into it.
Exactly.
So
Which
like
makes it hard.
I admire that they're rebooting it, but Jesus Christ, it's too much shit to follow. Because you have 3, and they do intertwine with each other and do crossovers, but you have 4 different fucking storylines to follow.
It's hard to say who is the better company now. I think Marvel's having more fun, to be honest.
As an adult,
Marvel's probably make more money too.
Marvel Zombies was the funnest thing that's happened in years. Let's be honest.
yeah. I don't know. I always said as a kid. I always picked Marvel, but as an adult, I would pick DC.
You guys are
And now, mind you, D, that ties into
Black
you.
Horse?
Like you showed me fucking Watchmen,
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
Dark
Yes.
Horse, but you showed me like Watchmen and shit like that. As an adult, I would probably go with DC over Marvel. And I'm sorry, I love you, Peter Parker and fucking X-Men, but as an adult reader, DC kind of has the better storylines.
Only because you relate to it.
So
Traitor.
Dylan and then Fat Kyle, then since you guys are incredibly well versed in terms of comics, considering you grew up with them and everything, and you know a lot of the different universes and storylines, what would you consider to be the essential sort of storylines and or universes for both DC and Marvel? Like, what would be some of your recommendations?
Well, like I don't know. The hardest thing to do is like with DC. If you're a Marvel fan, I don't know, but if you're a DC fan, like in the '80s, they did the Crisis on Infinite Earth, and now they're doing New 52. Like, there's so many different multiverses to follow, so it's kind of hard to follow if you're a DC fan.
That's kind of the frustrating thing about being someone that genuinely wants to really get into comic books and doesn't quite know where to start. Like someone that's read a select few issues in novels and liked them, but hasn't really delved into the actual universe.
What do you think, D?
Well, you asked for storylines. You can look at certain storylines throughout the years of both companies that are standalone or could be seen as standalone if you wanted them to. I think a good example are like some of the later runs of Swamp Thing in the 70s, or the Spectacular Spider-Man with the Clone Saga, or I guess Superman Apocalypse.
I know your brother Jordan really likes the Spectacular Spider-Man, and I did start reading that, and I read 2 issues. I did quite enjoy that.
A lot of it's a lot darker than the Amazing stuff.
The Amazing Spider-Man seemed, from what I did read, to be a little more lighthearted.
No, it's not all lighthearted, but then you have like the Web of Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man. It has some really good stuff in there. Really good stuff.
I gotcha. I mean, maybe I'll have to check them out. Like I said, I genuinely want to read some of these comic books, or even omnibuses, omnibuy, whatever you'd like to refer to them as. It's hard because considering there's so many reimaginings and reanimations of these different superheroes, it's difficult to kind of know where to start and like what's considered true and what's considered like not.
It's just like with anything, you pick and choose.
Exactly.
So it really is just a matter of opinion.
Do I want to fucking watch Friday the 13th or Halloween? You pick one. I mean, it's a slasher movie. It's the same basic premise, but you take there's different spins on the tropes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that to an extent, but I mean, I know that there's a lot of comic book loyalty out there and a lot of like, quote unquote true fans. It's the matter of being ostracized by the fan base that kind of deters me away from it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
No.
Really?
What do you think's gonna go?
Comic books aren't my thing. I haven't read enough of them to have an opinion. So, you guys got this.
Well, see, that's kind of why I've gotten into manga, because it's like, you can see it as a Japanese comic book, but it's like one straightforward kind of storyline, and like, I read Rurouni Kenshin, I really like it. It's just like one universe, whatever.
To bring it back to what we were actually talking about, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think, D?
I already said.
What? Manga was not where we should have gone with that conversation.
Oh, manga is just a Japanese comic book overall.
We were talking about American comics. You asked for our recommendations from DC and Marvel.
Yeah, I know.
Kenshin.
Yeah, I know.
If you want mango recommendations, I'll do that later.
Death Note.
Death Note is great. I can't help it if you don't like it.
Death Note. What is your stance on manga, Kyle? Or anime?
Well, I didn't mean to get into this topic, but I guess if you want to, then yeah, Kyle.
Tenchi Muyo is beautiful. I
I really
like.
like Dragon Ball, but
Well, you have to think we're all the same age, so Cartoon Network when we were kids, like everything, Cowboy Bebop, Big O, Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball Z, even Sailor Moon. Fuck you! I remember talking Sailor Moon with your ex, Maria, at fucking McDonald's, plenty of nights. I don't know.
I have fond memories
Anything
of
that
all
was
those.
on when we were kids on Toonami, because Toonami is what mainly aired when we came home from school. So
I have fond memories of all those shows.
Dragon Ball Z was probably my favorite. Gundam Wing was probably the most epic storyline because it had a start and finish. Dragon Ball Z like kind of drug on and got into ridiculous territories.
But it was so epic at the same time.
no.
I think it was epic until you got to GT.
You know you want to see Goku get his license.
So epic.
No, dude. The Boost saga is fucking super gay. Like I love the fight between Super Saiyan 2 Goku versus Majin Vegeta. Everything else, I act like it never happened. It was so fucking ridiculous. Skinny, you're a big Dragon Ball Z fan. Start talking.
I like all of it. I mean, except GT.
Well, GT is like hit or miss. Like the first like season is okay, but then when
The only
once
part
you
of
start
GT
getting
I
to
like
the baby,
was the three guys that danced.
the
instead of
Parappa,
fighting.
the
the
Parappa
Parappa.
brothers.
Yes, that was my favorite part because it was so fucking outlandish and ridiculous. That have
They,
you
they
seen
like
GT?
started rapping into the fucking like the boombox or whatever.
Giru.
But other than that, GT should be put away.
See, I think the first season of GT was all right. Like when they were just kind of trying to find the Black Star Dragon Balls, but like after that, when
It
they started
did
getting the
not
baby
need to
saga,
be there.
no, but it was interesting enough.
It does not need to be there.
It was interesting enough. Just for someone
No,
that kind of
dude.
likes expanding on the universe, it was interesting.
You know,
No.
we can have our own anime podcast, and it can just be all about anime, but we can't get into this right now.
But
Dragon, Dragon.
I know that
Dragon Ball Z.
that's what I think about it, Jake.
Huh?
That's the question you asked me. You're
He
like,
likes
oh, what do
the
you think
stuff
about
that he
anime?
grew up with. He's not willing to explore further than that.
Just, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're not one to kind of delve into different animes other than the ones that you kind of grew up with on Toonami and Adult Swim. Even, am I right?
Akira is the greatest like anime.
He has a. I love his art style. I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Akira is the name of the fucking movie.
Are you talking? I thought you were talking about Akira Toriyama, bro.
No,
Akira
He's talking about the
Toriyama.
movie.
I don't agree with that.
I haven't seen
Akira.
the movie. Whatever. I thought you were talking about Akira Toriyama, aka the lead fucking designer of Dragon Ball Z, like the main dude behind it all.
Like, I can't get into this, but the best animated like standalone film has nothing else behind it would be Ninja Scroll, but we won't get into that.
I actually enjoyed Kiki's Delivery Service.
That's why I didn't really want to talk about anime in the first place. But
Anime is beautiful. Like I just love the art and a lot of the storylines, just because they are far more complex than any American cartoons or even a lot of American shows in general.
Jake,
In my personal opinion,
like I said, I will have an anime podcast with you if that's what you want, but we need to stop this right now.
that
because
I
this
feel
is not
you.
fitting for our show.
Yeah. Well, this is all extra
this
content
isn't the Jake
anyway.
show.
This is all extra content anyway, so it's not like this really matters. This will just be like a
Kaijus,
bonus
start topic to
episode.
finish this. Destroy the monster.
And Keegan is back, looking beautiful like always. In his trucker hat, and his long hair, and his neck beard, and his
We
coffee.
got coffee up there.
Every time I look at Keegan, I'm just like, wow, that man, it gets more beautiful every time I see
Just
him.
want to call it a day, dude.
Every single time I see him.
Certainly getting to that point.
He's
Yeah.
just, and he's walking on by.
Well, guys,
Well, this was Kaiju Slasher Ewoks. Oh my, with Fat
Oh my.
Kyle
Dylan,
Skinny Kyle.
Jake.
and have a fantastic 2 weeks. So we'll see you again.